Let's get it! 580 Sports Talk, live and direct on a Red Friday. A football Friday. You've made it to the end of the week, and your reward is 3 hours of sports talk on the sports voice of Kansas. 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com. And in living color on our video stream, our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, our Facebook page, WIBW News. However, wherever, whenever you're tuned in to the program today, thanks so much for being a part of the audience here for 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. The rest of the gang, Spencer Dupuis, Brendan Wrzinski, will be along in a little while, and we are wall-to-wall football on this Football Friday, a Chiefs Red Friday, back at Arrowhead Stadium for another huge home game. On paper, a clash of AFC Titans. Also on paper, a battle between two teams that are 1-2 to start their 2025 seasons. The Chiefs and the Ravens at Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday, a 3:25 kickoff, national TV on CBS. Chiefs Radio Network broadcast available locally on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. We'll break it all down as we always do on a Red Friday. We'll have our keys to the game, our predictions, both straight up and against the spread, and our big Chief picks, who we think will be the most important Chiefs for a victory on Sunday. We'll also talk to our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. He will join us at the bottom of this hour. We'll get Matt's perspective on Chiefs-Ravens as well. Plus, it's a college football weekend with both KU and K-State. And if you're an in-state college football fan, you better have two screens because they're kicking off at the same time on Saturday. 11 a.m. kicks in both Manhattan and Lawrence as KU tries to go to 2-0 in league play, taking on Cincinnati. That game on TNT, while K-State off their bye, trying to right their ship and get to 500 in the Big 12 with their Big 12 home opener against UCF. That game is on FS1, radio broadcast available right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. Pregame coverage tomorrow, 9 a.m. before that 11 a.m. kickoff. Breakfast at the Bill Snyder Family Stadium. We'll preview those games as well. Can K-State do it? Can they steady the ship? Can they find a way to beat an unbeaten UCF team? Can KU prove that they're a bona fide contender by knocking off a Cincinnati team that, I got to be honest, I looked at the numbers. They're better than I thought, but they've got one pretty significant flaw that I think Kansas can exploit on Saturday. So we'll get into that later in the show as well. Plus, it is week 5 of the 580 Sports Talk Picks Contest, where we will give you our picks for the week. We've got 5 picks that we make, 2 college football games against the spread, 2 NFL games against the spread, 1 wild card pick. We enter week 5 of our contest. Right now, Spencer's the only one making any money. Both Brendan and I are below 500, though I'm not that far below 500. I've got 3 pushes in 4 weeks. That's insane. That's nuts. Anyway, it goes to show you I have a decent feel, I guess, if I'm landing on all the games that are pushes. Actually, you know what shows has a good feel for the games? Vegas. the books. There's a reason those casinos are so fancy, right? The all those buildings in Vegas are so tall and shiny. Yeah, because of things like that. So we've got our picks contest. That's coming up later on in the show today as well. Plus, all of our typical Friday shenanigans, 580 Sports Talk headlines. We will crown a weekly champion on What Is Wrong With You. It'll be our final weekly champion of September. We'll have on Monday our semifinals for the month, and then on Tuesday we will crown a September champion. Incredibly, my story is an update to a story we did 5 years ago, and you might even remember it for one unforgettable soundbite, or at the very least 2 unforgettable words. So that's coming up in What Is Wrong With You. We'll do Change My Mind. We'll do On Second Thought, all that fun stuff as well here today. Want to hear from you throughout the show. Text line is open, 785-272-9429. 785-272-9429 is the number, 785-272-9429. We've also got the YouTube chat that you can post your thoughts in if you're watching the program on our YouTube stream. 580 Sports Talk, the name of the channel. Go subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Get us closer to our stretch goal of 900 subscribers. When we get there, we're going to sing for you. 580 Sports Talk karaoke at 900 subscribers. We're 77 away. We'll get there day by day with your help. Go subscribe, smash that subscribe button. And if you're watching the YouTube chat today or watching the broadcast on YouTube live, hop on into the chat and say hello. We appreciate everybody who makes the live chat during the show such a vibrant place. A good afternoon to Vance, Andrew, Paul's in the chat, Mark H is in the chat so far, and we appreciate you guys. Look forward to hearing from more of you in the chat. Vance asked a very good question. Where am I going tonight? Not to the club. My clubbing days are over. No, he means where am I going for high school football? Vance, I'm so glad you asked. We do have high school football tonight here on our sister station, Country 106.9. There's a little bait and switch there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you folks. I just almost got going too fast and tripped over my words. Had to make sure I got it out right. Over on Country 106.9 tonight, because we still have Royals baseball here tonight on 580 WIBW, we will bring you week 4 of the 580 Preps game of the week. Hayden versus Wamego. Going to be a dandy at Hayden Field tonight. I understand it is homecoming at Hayden. Homecoming in a lot of places. Homecoming for Topeka West last night. I believe homecoming for Topeka High tonight as well. So a lot of that going on here this week and next. It's that time of the year after all. But that is our game tonight, our 580 Preps game of the week. Hayden and Wamego, myself and Greg Akagi with Spencer Dupuis on the sideline, giving you the call of the action from Hayden Field tonight. Hope you will join us over on our sister station, Country 106.9. We'll have pregame coverage around 6:40 or so. So, hope that answers your question. That is where I will be tonight. So, appreciate everybody who is tuned in. Appreciate you being along with us. Let's go ahead and jump right on in to Chiefs-Ravens on Sunday afternoon at Arrowhead Stadium. And this is a weird one, right? Because on its face, this is a matchup between two of the teams that are among the real powers in the AFC, or the teams that have been the real powers in the AFC the last handful of years. Nobody threatening the Chiefs' position to this point as the alpha dog in the conference. They've got the 3 straight Lamar Hunt trophies to prove it, but certainly Baltimore is firmly established as a long-term contender with their 2-time MVP at quarterback, Lamar Jackson, and they've been to a conference championship game in recent memory, even got to host the Chiefs. They're the only team in the AFC who has hosted the Chiefs for an AFC championship game in the Patrick Mahomes era. Didn't go great for them. So it's one of those that gets put on the schedule and you circle it right away. You think, oh yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be 2 awesome quarterbacks. This is going to be 2 awesome teams. This is going to be a real clash of the Titans, a real heavyweight fight. Can't wait for it. And we're 3 weeks into the season, and neither team has really lived up to their preseason billing. I mean, we've talked about it up and down, left and right, as far as the Chiefs go, and their 1-2 start, and still trying to find themselves on offense, still struggling in some ways on the defensive side, though things have, I will say, I think trended in a positive direction for the Chiefs, who got some great news earlier today. No injury designation for Xavier Worthy. So if you're hearing this for the first time, it's breaking news to you. Xavier Worthy is in for Sunday. He will play for the first time since being injured on the 3rd snap of the night in the opener in Brazil 3 Fridays ago. So his return is another data point in favor of the idea, and I subscribe to it. Now, I don't know how steep the curve upward, the incline upward is, but I do believe the Chiefs are trending upwards, trending forwards following their win last week. And maybe that's just as simple as they're coming off a win and Baltimore's coming off a loss, and why I feel this way about the Chiefs relative to the Ravens. But it does feel like after a disappointing week 1, the defense has gotten better for the Chiefs. They've played progressively better in each of the last 2 weeks. The Chiefs are coming off a game where I thought their offensive line probably had their best game of the season. The offense itself, I thought, had about its best game of the season. And even though we acknowledge there's a ways for the Chiefs to go to get to what I would consider a championship standard of play, I think they have taken steps following a disappointing and disjointed week one to get there. Even if the first half of Sunday Night Football felt like steps in the wrong direction, or maybe just a fall head over tea kettle in the wrong direction, a tumble, if you will, that the play in the second half, the 2 touchdown drives in the second half, represented some meaningful progress. Nobody's saying it's good enough. Nobody's saying it's close to being what it needs to be to win a championship, but it's been better for the Chiefs. Still, they come into Sunday's game 1-2, deserving to be 1-2, and feeling a little bit less than, by and large, what we expected them to be. Then there are the Ravens. The Ravens are coming off a loss. So again, we've all got too short a memory sometimes. We're prisoners of the moment. And the last time we saw the Ravens, they were getting scalded defensively, giving up 38 points, and Derrick Henry was losing a fist fight against the bench after he fumbled yet again. And the Ravens were tumbling to a 1-2 start, despite showing such promise, really dominating the first 45, 50, I would even say 55 minutes of their game against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo in the opener, beating the brakes off of Cleveland in game 2. Their loss on Monday night laid bare some flaws. This is a team that has not generated a lot of pass rush. They have struggled mightily defensively. They've given up nearly 100 points in their first 3 games. We'll give you some more numbers just as to what particularly has gone wrong for this Ravens defense. Lamar Jackson's still great. Derrick Henry, still Derrick Henry, even with the fumble issue. But this is a team feeling decidedly less than the sum of its parts, and decidedly less than we anticipated coming in. So as anticipated as this game is, still as hugely important as it remains, the loser on Sunday can probably forget about the number 1 seed in the AFC, which is a wild thing to say 4 games in, but it's probably true, right? Like, you wouldn't bet on the loser on Sunday being able to rebound and have the kind of record that it's going to take to get the 1 seed. That would require nearly flawless football the rest of the way. It's probably going to be 14-3 or 13-4 that gets you the 1. Well, if it's 14-3, you're already got the 3. You've spent your mulligans. Whoever loses on Sunday has spent their mulligans there. Can you tell I watched a lot of the Ryder Cup today? Using golf analogies all over the place. Anyway, so there's a lot on the line, and there's a lot of excitement about this game, but it just feels a little bit less than what we were hoping it was going to be between these two teams, because these teams have been a little bit less than what we expected. Keys to the game on Sunday, and this is a collaborative effort, even though it's just me talking behind the mic for this opening segment. Spencer and Brendan submit their keys to the game, and we go through them all here in this first segment. We want to hear what you think the keys to a Chiefs victory are on the text line, 785-272-9429, and in the YouTube live chat. All 3 of us identified some form or fashion of this being a key to the game for the Chiefs. Hashtag establish the run. And we have talked a lot about the running game, and probably we have talked more about it than what the actual importance of the running game long-term is for the Chiefs, given that they are a team with the best quarterback in the league, and they will go as Patrick Mahomes goes. But the facts are the facts. The Ravens defense this season has been miserable against the run. Brendan gave us these stats. Win rate on run stops. How often do you stop the run? Really stuff the run at the line of scrimmage. Baltimore is a defense 19th in the league. What about expected points added per play? We've talked about that. Expected points added on running plays. The Baltimore defense is 31st in expected points added allowed on running plays. That's out of 32 teams. And in rushing success rate this season, the Ravens defense is dead last. Teams have had a lot of success running the ball against the Baltimore Ravens. The Chiefs, meanwhile, have a blueprint for success on the ground, even with what we all acknowledge is a subpar, there's another golf analogy, a subpar running back room. The Chiefs still have a blueprint for success. We saw it in the second half against the Giants. Get under center and run the ball. Use that to set up play action. Use the run to set up deep passes. Stretch the field horizontally with end arounds and motion. Jet sweeps, fake jet sweeps, and running counter or dive off of those. Those plays were successful on the ground for the Chiefs, and they gained over 4 yards per rush as a team before the kneel downs at the end against the Giants took them under 4 yards per carry. And look, 4 yards per carry isn't sexy, but 4 yards per carry, as Mitch Holtz has called it when we talked to him yesterday, it's a passing grade in the NFL. You will get a degree. You will walk across the aisle and shake the chancellor's hand and get your diploma with 4 yards per carry. And importantly for the Chiefs, it gives them a chance to stay on schedule. It gives them the chance to do the thing that has been their superpower with Mahomes as their quarterback, convert on third down and stay on the field. And that last point, staying on the field, the more Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense is on the field, the less Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are on the field. So the run is going to be important on Sunday against a defense that has struggled to stop it, for an offense that now has their top deep threat back and the ability to use the run to set up some play action and try to do what Patrick Mahomes has done more than he's done since I think it's his second year in the league, and that is test the defense down the field. That's a true fact. Yards per attempt for Patrick Mahomes this year, air yards per attempt. Every year in Mahomes' career since his rookie year, it's gone down. It has bounced back up. Last year, he was just over 6 air yards per attempt. This year, he's up to 8.5 through 3 games. If the Chiefs want that trend to continue, and that's not an easy thing to do against Kyle Hamilton, right? And some of the stars in that Baltimore secondary. But you know how you take Kyle Hamilton out of the play? Bring him closer to the line with the threat of the run. And if he's not going to come closer to the line, take your 4 or 5 yards to carry, move the ball down the field, and keep Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry off the field. Other keys to Sunday from the group. My second key, keep it clean in the secondary. I think the Chiefs are going to be very choosy with how often they blitz Lamar Jackson. I wouldn't expect them to blitz much at all on Sunday. I think they'll rush 3 or 4. They'll keep a spy back on Lamar Jackson, and they'll trust their secondary to do the job on the back end. This was successful for the Detroit Lions on Monday night. It resulted in 7 sacks of Lamar Jackson and limiting him to just 32 rushing yards. So that was a blueprint that I believe the Chiefs have the personnel to follow, specifically on the back end. Their coverage units, I think they match up pretty well with the Ravens. What the Chiefs cannot do is get too physical and too handsy. This message is not entirely and only for Noel Williams, but it is very much aimed at him. Because what you can't do is gift the Ravens free first downs, especially if you are able to get them into third down situations. You can't have those illegal contact, holding, illegal use of hands, pass interference penalties that allow drives to sustain, that allow drives to get into field goal range. Because I don't know if you've noticed in the modern NFL with the touchback rule moving closer and closer to midfield with the new kickoffs, it doesn't take much to get into field goal range anymore. It doesn't take much to have a drive that puts points on the board. So don't give the other team that field position. Keep it clean in the secondary. Spencer mentions aggressiveness in his keys against the run. George Karlaftis had some quotes this week talking about how difficult it is to stop Derrick Henry, how difficult it is to stop Lamar Jackson on the run. But a big talking point coming into this week, Derrick Henry's got the fumblies. 3 lost fumbles in 3 weeks. Go for the ball. See if you can't punch it out. See if you can't plant some further seeds of doubt in the great Derrick Henry, who clearly is fighting himself a little bit on the topic. Brendan's second key to the game, finish. And this is so important against the Ravens, who so often find ways to shoot themselves in the foot late. As Brendan writes, Derrick Henry has worked up something awful about his fumbles, and this isn't especially new for Lamar, even with his greatness in mind. A fourth quarter takeaway or even a couple explosives from the offense would give the Ravens a bit of PTSD. And again, in a late and close game, you trust Andy Reid, you trust Steve Spagnuolo, and you trust Patrick Mahomes more than you trust John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. So if this is a tight one at the end, advantage Chiefs, in my opinion, because that has been how it has gone in recent history between the Chiefs and the Ravens. There's a reason the Chiefs have handled the Ravens in the Lamar Jackson era. There's a reason Lamar's 1-5 against Mahomes. We'll take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. We'll come back with our picks, keys to the game, Big Chief, and we'll talk to Matt Derrick at ChiefsDigest.com. We're just getting started on this red Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. .330, just getting started on this Red Friday on 580 Sports Talk. I'm Dan. Spencer and Brendan will be along later on. Key to the game for the Chiefs, submitted by a texter from the 785. Key to the game is score more points than the Ravens do. This is so true. This is an amazing stat. There have been 49 games played in the NFL season so far. 48 first 3 weeks, and game 49 was last night. Seahawks beat the Cardinals 23-20. I'm still not buying Sam Darnold stock. You can't make me. I don't want to. Teams that score more points than the other team, 49-0 so far. Fascinating stat. So true. Thank you for that, texter from the 785. Also, a question from the YouTube chat. Andrew wants to know how much of a leash I think Jawan Taylor has on Sunday. So it sounds like Kyle Van Noy might play. He's going to be questionable on the list. If he goes, that will give the Ravens one proven pass rusher. So I am not afraid of the Ravens pass rush. I think that Taylor on a snap-to-snap basis can hold his own. If he commits more dumb penalties, I do sense that the frustration is starting to wear on. I mean, Matt Nagy talked about after week 1, and if he's going to bring it up, then I'm sure it is keenly on the mind of the coaching staff. I would not expect Taylor to survive if he's making another couple of drive-killing penalties. Survive the game as the right tackle. I think that he could get pulled there, but it's not a matchup that I don't like for the Chiefs. I don't think that Baltimore's pass rush. They've got Mike Green, who's a rookie and didn't do anything against Detroit. They had no sacks against Detroit, and Kyle Van Noy didn't play against Detroit. But if Van Noy does go, he'll be a hobbled version of Van Noy. So let's get to our predictions. Big Chief picks. At Prairie Band Sportsbook in Marietta right now, the Chiefs are 3-point underdogs. When was the last time the Chiefs were underdogs in back-to-back home games? It's twice they've been a home underdog, where I think it had only been the case once in the Patrick Mahomes era before this season. But they are, once again, home underdogs. The total, 48.5. So that is your over-under. So far this year, I'm 1-2 picking the game straight up, 1-2 against the spread, but I'm 3-0 to the total. And I have 2 big Chief points. Nobody else in the group has any of those. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think they're going to win. I think that this matchup favors them. I think that being at home will favor them. I think getting Xavier Worthy back is a huge deal for this offense. I think the game goes under the total. I think both coaches will be a little bit cagey, and I think you'll see both defenses make some plays to keep the score close. But I got the Chiefs by a field goal, 23-20. So Chiefs win, Chiefs cover, under 48.5, and Xavier Worthy is my big Chief. Brendan is 2-1 straight up into the spread, also 2-1 to the total. He's got the Chiefs by a point, 24-23, so he's also on the under, and says either guard is the big Chief because the running game is going to be so important for the Chiefs. Kingsley, Suamataia, Trey Smith, either one has to win their matchup. Spencer also 2-1 straight up and against the spread and to the total. He's going with the Chiefs as well. So everybody on the Chiefs this week, everybody on the Chiefs obviously to cover because we're on to win straight up as underdogs. Spencer, the only one of us over the total this week. He's got the Chiefs in a higher scoring affair, 27-24, lists George Karlaftis as his big Chief. I like the matchup for Kansas City. I think the Baltimore defense reputation is greater than what it's actually capable of right now with the injuries that they're dealing with. I think Mahomes is going to have time to throw. I think the return of Xavier Worthy will have this offense looking a little bit more in sync. And I think the Chiefs are going to be able to move the ball. I think that the Ravens, they have moved the ball effectively, but the Chiefs do a good enough job against Derrick Henry. I think if they put a lid on the big plays, I think they're going to be just fine. The Ravens so far this year, if you have watched their offense, if they're not hitting on a big play, they're punting. If it's not long Derrick Henry run or long pass to Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman, both of whom are playing well, then they're punting. They are really reliant on the explosive play right now. And I think the Chiefs have proven that they can do a good job taking those plays away from other teams. And they have proven over time, they have done a good job taking those away on the ground from Derrick Henry. So if they do that and they're able to successfully limit, the word I used yesterday in talking to Mitch Holt is blunt the impact, blunt the effectiveness of Lamar Jackson on the ground. I think they'll limit those big plays. And the Ravens have found it really, really hard to be on schedule offensively. If they do that, then I think the Ravens will struggle to move the ball. So I like this matchup for the Chiefs. I do. I think they're trending in a good direction. I think Baltimore is not. And I think the Chiefs will come out of this one 2-2 with a win. We'll take a break, come back. We will talk to Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com on 580 Sports Talk. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. Check him out across all manner of social media by searching his name, Matt Derrick. He joins us every Friday at this time here on the program. And Matt, I don't want to make it sound like I think the Chiefs fixed everything on offense between the first and the second half of their game against the Giants on Sunday night. But I do feel like they found some things and trended in a positive direction by the end of that 22-9 win. It still wasn't pretty on balance, but am I wrong to say that there were some positive signs of life there in the second half that could sustain for them moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were certainly a couple of strides that they took forward, but I think the biggest one was really with Patrick Mahomes and his just the comfort of being able to keep his eyes downfield and not just being worried about the pressure as much and worried about scrambling and just running for his life. It seemed like there was a little bit of a switch between the first and the second half when he was really trying to get the ball out on schedule and stay in rhythm. And it evolved through I thought a little bit of the first half, and you saw that with him being able to take some shots deep. And in the second half, I mean, again, there were some plays where of late he's just been taking off and scrambling and looking for yards that way. But now he seems like he's starting to get some comfort with this offensive line, that he's keeping his eyes downfield and he's looking for the big play. And it's not the other way around. It's not that he's looking short and, hey, if the only deep shots that they're taking are pre-planned, now he looks like, in that second half, he looked like classic Patrick Mahomes. That is, hey, the first thing he's going to do is push his eyes downfield and see if there's something there, whether that's what the play's designed for or not. And if the play breaks down, he's going to go back and look again. He's going to take a look downfield. And that can only happen when he's got the comfort level with the offensive line to take the time to keep his eyes downfield and not worry, not have one eye behind his back worried about who's going to hit him.
It also felt like they found some things that they can scheme to make the running game successful. Maybe not explosive. They probably don't have the personnel for an explosive and elite running game, but for a successful running game, some under center runs, bringing the jet sweep back, a lot of pre-snap motion prior to run plays. Does it feel to you like that was an acknowledgement that, hey, we're going to have to scheme running game success this year because maybe we just don't have the personnel for these guys to fight their way for 5 yards to carry on their own?
Yeah, I think we've heard once again this week from another coach, and not just last week it was Matt Nagy, this week it was Andy Hack. They still feel like they don't really know what their identity is on offense, and without the guys that they need, without Rashee Rice and without Xavier Worthy, and I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, once you get those two guys back, things will change a little bit. But again, we've seen this team struggling to run the football against light boxes when there's only 6 guys in the box. And that should be the kind of time when you are racking up big yards. You're making 5 yards to carry plus. And they haven't been doing that. So, I mean, the problems with the run game, it's not entirely line related. It's not entirely play calling and scheme. It's not entirely running backs. It's a little bit of all three. But I still think that the one thing that they're lacking is they're lacking explosiveness. And that's why I was really encouraged. At least they upped Rashard Smith to 2 touches last week. And now he did average 6.5 yards a touch. So once again, that might be something you want to tap into, because they just right now with Kareem and Pacheco, they just don't have the explosiveness to put a back there that you feel like at any time can rip off 15, 20, 40, 75 yards.
Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com is our Chiefs insider, joining us here on this Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. Matt, what's the concern level for Harrison Butker? He has not been himself these first 3 weeks. Is it something that you think portends a long-term issue, or is there confidence that the veteran kicker can get it fixed and fixed quick?
Yeah, I mean, Harrison's always been one of those guys that when he struggles, he always finds his way out of it. He's had these slumps before. I think the only thing that's really concerned is that this slump is coinciding with, at the beginning of the season when he's changed a lot of his routine and he's made some adjustments. And, and I thought that even in the Giants game, it looked like at one point he kind of went down to a knee, that maybe he was going back to last year's form a little bit. That could happen too if he's getting any soreness in that knee or the ankle. I mean, Dave Toub didn't seem very worried at all this week, because he kind of takes that same philosophy that Harrison Butker's always worked his way out of it. He's going to. And I mean, I throw out the 47-yard PAT. I mean, if you're facing a 47-yard kick for 1 point as a kicker, that's just about the worst position that your team can put you in. And hey, Kareem did that with the penalty. So like I said, that's kind of been one of those outliers I throw away. But Harrison's missing some kicks that he doesn't normally miss them. And the more frustrating thing is that he's missing them in ways that he doesn't always miss them. I mean, like he typically draws kicks, and he's missed some kicks wide right that aren't really consistent with his normal trajectory.
What do you make of Nick Bolton's play through the first 3 weeks? Andy Reid mentioned him specifically in his post-game comments before a question was even asked after the win over the Giants. Shouted him out. He had 14 tackles in the game, but he also missed a couple of tackles in that game. And Pro Football Focus has been very unkind to Bolton's play so far. We all know he's a player with certain strengths and certain limitations, and the Chiefs are willing to live with the limitations because they believe his strengths are so important. At the same time, is he bringing enough to the table that you feel like this is a guy that we're comfortable with in this matchup against a Ravens team that has both a mobile quarterback and two really good tight ends if Isaiah Likely plays?
Yeah, and you kind of hit on what the meat of it is a little bit here, which is that, hey, missed tackles hasn't always been necessarily a big part of Nick Bolton's game. He's usually been pretty reliable in that standpoint. Now, through 3 games, I think his missed tackle percentage right now is up over 10%. That would be a career high for him. So he's missing more tackles than he usually does. Is it still a small sample size? I mean, Cam Scadaboo kind of ran through him at one point, and Scadaboo's a big kid. So maybe that's just one where the bigger guy is going to win sometimes, and Nick's a little undersized. But aside from that, then you talk about what the Chiefs were able to do in the passing game and shutting down the Giants. And a huge part of that was the scheme that they were running with, split safety so that they could run zone and man on kind of both sides of the field. It was all built to try and take away Malik Neighbors and make sure that the Giants couldn't run the deep ball. And you ask any football coach, what's the key to running an effective split safety scheme? And they all will tell you the middle linebacker, your Mike linebacker that sets it all up. And the Chiefs could not have run that pass defense against the Giants without Nick Bolton. I mean, he's the guy that made it all go. And then you throw in the tackles. I mean, that's a big part of it too. I mean, it's not just pure numbers. So yeah, had a couple of bad snaps, but at the same time, I mean, not all the other snaps might have just been aces because he was that important to their scheme the other night.
We're talking to Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. He's our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline as he does every Friday at this time. Looking ahead to Sunday afternoon against the Baltimore Ravens. So Ravens team coming in also 1-2. They've had big problems on defense so far this season. They've had some injuries that they've dealt with as well. Given the nature of their struggles and those injuries, what do you think is the best way for the Chiefs to try and attack this Ravens defense? And how much will having Xavier Worthy back help them attack it?
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the things that the Chiefs probably have to focus on a bit this week and maybe just play against type somewhat, because I think for the first 3 games, the Chiefs have been trying to do what they do. And the thing is that you can't do that when you don't have the horses to do it. If you don't have Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, I think you still are lacking an explosive running back. You're lacking maybe a consistent tight end. You got a lot of issues there. So I think that on one side of the things, they do need to be themselves, maybe a bit more than usual. But I think it's also you kind of have to just figure out what they do best. And that's something that, once again, we heard from the coaches this week saying they've not consistently figured out what it is that they do best yet. And I'm still not sure that they're going to know until they get Rashee Rice back onto the field and what this offense is going to look like. But what do you do? I mean, I say the same thing that this team kind of did in the second half against the Giants. You let Pat be Pat. You let him just do his thing, put the ball in his hands. If the run game for this week is more screen games and it's Patrick making short passes, design passes, and the rest of the game the plan is just putting the ball in his hand and letting him push it downfield. I mean, I think that's what you need to do until you're full strength again. And even once you get Rashee Rice back, I mean, aggression has to be the motto of this team's offense. And I don't think until the second half against the Giants that they really planned that at all. I don't think they had been aggressive through the first 2.5 games of the season.
Defensively, the Chiefs' track record against Derrick Henry is a pretty good one. They've done a nice job against the future Hall of Fame running back. They've had success in terms of beating Lamar Jackson, though Lamar has put up good numbers against them in some Ravens defeats in the past. What is the priority for this Chiefs defense? What is it most important that they take away in this matchup if they're going to win?
To me, the most important thing is you do what Steve Spagnuolo does against Lamar Jackson and similar quarterbacks. You saw it against Jalen Hurts, less so with Russell Wilson because he just doesn't have the mobility that he once had. But again, it's you get after the quarterback, you hem him in the pocket, and you don't let Lamar Jackson beat you with his legs. You don't let him extend plays. You don't let him get outside vertically. You don't let him find windows to rack up 25-yard runs up the middle. You force Lamar Jackson to stay in the pocket, throw the football to try and beat you, because the Chiefs believe if they put a game on the arm of Lamar Jackson, that they're going to win the football game because he will make mistakes. He will, at some point, make a play that's going to determine the football game. It can backfire on you, but that's where Steve Spagnuolo has always believed is that's what you got to do and make this offense uncomfortable.
For the Chiefs to win on Sunday, who do you think is the most important guy on that defense? Who is the player? I mean, the important guys are always the important guys. But who is the most important guy in this matchup to give the Chiefs a chance to do what they're going to have to do defensively to limit the Ravens?
Ooh, that's a really good question. You know what? I think my short answer is going to be Chamari Connor. I think that's the guy because, it looks like you're going to have back Isaiah Likely. That's a guy that has obviously damaged the Chiefs before, almost won the game for the Ravens last year. And, your safeties are going to have to be able to defend that guy in the middle of the field. So they need someone to step up there. And when, you're not playing with Justin Reed anymore, who would be a guy who would be helping out in a situation like that, I think Chamari Connor is, one, he's a big part of this Chiefs defense, period. I think a lot bigger than people realize. But two, in a game like this where that the Ravens are going to attack the middle of the field, they're going to attack the slot, I think Chamari is going to be really important in this game.
Last thought, Matt. Do the Chiefs win on Sunday?
As the game gets closer and closer, I keep thinking that maybe I should be taking the Chiefs in this one. It's coming down to Chiefs offense versus the Ravens defense, because those are the two weakest elements of this team. The Ravens can put up points, and that's the problem. The Chiefs defense is good. I think they can hold down the Ravens a little bit. Certainly their lowest output of the year. I think they can keep them down. It's just, can the Chiefs offense rally and put together some scores? And until they do, I'm just not sure I can believe it. So I'm going with the Ravens on this one, 24-23.
Matt Derrick covers the Kansas City Chiefs for ChiefsDigest.com, and he is our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk. Joins us every Friday on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Matt, everybody's going to hope you're wrong on that prediction this week. We appreciate you stopping by as always. It's always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week.
Sounds good, Dan. Take care, my friend.
That is Matt Derrick. We will take a timeout, come back with On Second Thoughts to wrap up this hour of 580 Sports Talk. On second thoughts, well, there's a lot of second guessing, I think, to be done with the United States Ryder Cup team, who are staring down the barrel of a possible 6-2 deficit after day one at Bethpage. I was optimistic about Team USA's chances of retaking the Ryder Cup. Then they went out and laid an absolute egg in the morning session, lost foursomes 3-1, and now they're trailing in the 3 active 4-ball matches. JT and Cameron Young won their match 6-5, but is it bad that Scotty Scheffler's made as many birdies today as me? It's as true in match play golf as it is in any other sport we cover. Your best guys have to be your best guys. And I watched a lot of the Ryder Cup today. You know what I saw? Europe's best guys, Jon Rahm and Rory McIlroy, playing like it. And Scotty Scheffler playing like a 10 handicapper. That ain't going to cut it. Also, the pairings were nonsense. And anybody with eyes could have told you Colin Morikawa shouldn't have been on the team in the first damn place. They sent him out with Harris English in the morning. I'm going to get mad at Keegan Bradley. We'll do more of this in headlines. I won't be around for it, and you might be relieved. Anyway, who wants tickets? I got some tickets. I'm not going to give these away right now, but I've got some KU tickets to give away on the show today. Jayhawks against Cincinnati. So if you're a Jayhawk fan or you just want to go check out the reimagined David Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium, be listening for your cue to call for those. I'm not giving those away yet, but be listening. We're going to give away some KU tickets on the show today. We're also going to give away some K-State tickets on the show today. I've got a family 4-pack of K-State tickets for tomorrow against UCF at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. And I am going to give those away right now to caller number 4 to 785-272-9429. 785-272-9429. Caller number 4, you're going to the Bill on Saturday. 580 Sports Talk Picks Contest and more next hour. Let's get it. Hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk on this Friday, this Football Friday, this Red Friday edition of the program on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. Gang's all here for the 4 o'clock hour. I am Dan Lucero. Brendan Wrzinski is here. Spencer Dupuis is here. It's a Friday. Yeah, that's what you really got to be doing. Where's the coin? Where's the coin? That's your real hero, is that coin that you flipped. That rigged coin.
Ooh.
Rigged
coin.
It
wow.
it wasn't even Brendan's coin. I think it was Brit Z's coin.
It was Brit's coin.
Rigged coin.
Man, Aisha Curry in here.
Rigged coin. Yeah, I've lost respect.
This has been rigged for money or ratings.
I've lost respect.
It sounds like some orange fella.
Yeah, that's buddy.
Rigged.
So
Unfair.
deeply.
Unfair accusations.
So that is nice to see the gang all here for this 4 o'clock hour 580 Sports Talk on this Friday afternoon. We've got lots to get to this hour, including week 5 of our 580 Sports Talk picks contest, and a look at Saturday's college football action for K-State, KU, and the rest of the Big 12. Congratulations to listener Larry, not my father-in-law, crucially. He would not be eligible, but that is my father-in-law's first name. This is not my father-in-law. He is a ticket winner, though, and his name is Larry. Congratulations to Larry. He won the family 4-pack of K-State tickets. We got some KU tickets to give away later on in the show. So be listening for your cue to call. You maybe haven't been out to the reimagined David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium yet. I'm just going to keep calling it that because they insist on us calling it that.
Yes, they do.
So the reimagined booth. If you have not seen it yet, you want to go, you want to check out KU in Cincinnati on Saturday, be listening. We'll give a cue to call, and you'll have your chance to win. Well, we got a family 4-pack of those to give away as well?
Yes, indeed. Family 4-pack.
Love it. So we'll give away a family 4-pack of KU Cincinnati tickets later on in the show as well.
I would like to know what they were going to call it next year while it's under construction.
They're going to call it
continually reimagined.
Yes, the reimagination of something does
the
not
reimagining. Stop. I think. Do you think it'll be called the reimagining because they're doing it in like it'll be in process?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can just stick with that until it's all the way open. Like next year, you'll have to reimagine seats because there won't be half a stadium. Or like a third of a stadium.
Have they announced what they're going to do with like the student section or what? How they'll do capacity for next year while that's still going on?
I mean, I know they're going to play at a reduced capacity. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. I'm not sure.
Yeah, quite a
good question.
Yeah, it's quite an undertaking, but yeah, they'll have a reduced capacity next season. This year, though, not a problem, and we've got 4 tickets to give away. So again, be listening for that. We're also going to crown a weekly champion on What Is Wrong with You. Brendan, you were around for the story that I've got because it is an update on a story from 2020. You were around. This was January of 2020.
Oh yeah, so, we've still got we might still have the sounder.
I do have the sounder. Spencer, don't look at it. Don't spoil it for yourself if you haven't already spoiled it. But I'm excited to bring this one back for the listeners.
Oh, you're talking about read the article?
Yeah, don't read the article.
I have not.
Good. Don't read the article. I want you to be as delighted and surprised by this as our listeners will be.
That is the real throwback.
It is a real throwback. I don't even think it ended up being a weekly winner. Never mind a monthly winner.
Yeah, Jake was very opposed. Jake did not find it funny at all.
It took Jake the whole segment. I clipped the segment and I went back and I listened to it. It's in my files. I have the whole segment when this won the day on What Is Wrong with You. And yeah, it took Jake like the entire segment to discover why we thought it was funny. But rest assured, the rest of us, me, you, and former producer Marco Marquez all thought it was very funny.
Yes, it was.
It was a Marco segment. That's how far back
it was
goes.
A Marco segment. That's right.
So that is coming up later on this 9429. That is 75 272 9429. Still interested in your predictions, your thoughts on Chiefs Ravens on Sunday, as well as your thoughts on both KU and K-State games, home games in the Big 12 coming up this Saturday. You can also get at us on the YouTube chat. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk get in the chat. Say hello. Make yourself known. We appreciate those of you who are checking in with us in the chat today. If you have not checked out the YouTube stream before, no day like today. Come on, you're if you're not done with work, you're functionally done with work. You're chilling in your cube or in your corner office. I know we got some corner office listeners out there. And go ahead and fire us up on YouTube. Watch the show. We got the 2-shot today. We got the overhead shot because the studio's full, which fills up my heart. And watch the show and then go subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not yet. Subscribe to 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. Let's get into our 580 Sports Talk picks.
Let's do it.
Shall we? It is week number 5 of our picks contest, and we have a clear leader in the clubhouse. It is Spencer Dupuis. He has a winning record through 4 weeks, 10 to the good, 7 losses, 1 push. I am at 7, 8, and 3. 1 game shy of 500 with 3 pushes, which is obnoxious. And
already too. Like we're only 4 weeks into this or whatever. 3 in a season,
3 in 4 weeks. Really, 3 in 2 weeks because they have in the last 2 weeks. Incredible. Brendan does not have a push. Those would be improvements. He's 6 and 12 on the year.
Winning week last week.
Yep. Moving in the right direction.
It's what have you done for me lately league?
Brick by brick, right? None of us had losing weeks last week. I had the worst week and I was 2, 2, and 1. So nobody had a losing week last week. So
get down with that.
It's a good week in the picks. A reminder, all of the lines contained herein are from our friends at Prairie Band Sportsbook up at Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta. We picked 2 college football games against the spread, 2 NFL games against the spread, and 1 wild card game, wild card pick, which can be anything, a player prop, a yardage total, a game total, another spread, which we never do. It can be anything you want in the wild card with reasonable enough odds.
We got some gross wild cards this week.
We
not
really,
because they're necessarily bad picks, but like all 3 of us are rooting for unders. Yes. I'll just tell you right now. That's pretty gross.
All of us are pulling for defense. Let's go with Spencer's a leader in the clubhouse, so we'll give him the honors. Go ahead, Spencer. Step up to the tee box, and let's start with your 2 college football picks this week.
Yes, I believe this is the first time. I think the first time I've picked one of the in-state schools that we cover here, but I have KU covering the now 5.5 as the line has changed.
The line has jumped like crazy all week. Started big, got small, got back big, and now has moved again. It was at 5 this morning. It is now 5.5 this afternoon.
But I have them covering 5.5. If you know me, you know my little social media snafu I got in last year with Cincinnati people.
Beefing with Cincy fans. I'd forgotten about that.
So there's my KU pick there. And the bit continues. Marshall favored now by 1.5 as that line continues to move up and down. And it was a pick 'em originally when I picked it last night, but they're taking on Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. They're returning to where they won the.
Is that a soft J?
Cajuns.
Marshall's returning to where it won the 2024 Sun Belt Championship with, albeit a vastly different team. But I've got my team and my bit winning 1.5. They're getting some guys back. Some guys that were transferring in were supposed to be good. They're finally healthy.
All right.
So it's the Thundering Herd laying 1.5 on the road. That is a later game, 7 o'clock kick. That on the Plus or that get CBS Sports Network for you?
No, it's on the Plus.
On the Plus. And then
it's the away broadcast.
Then Cincinnati and KU, he's got the Jayhawks -5.5. I also have the Jayhawks -5.5. We try to avoid picking the same game, certainly try to avoid picking the same sides, but every now and again it's going to happen. And it's happening this week. I think Kansas is a lot better than Cincinnati in one department in particular, and we'll get into that in our game preview here in a little while. But I like the Jayhawks here in this spot at home on back-to-back weeks. I think they're going to be revved up to win big against the Cincinnati team that we've only really seen play one real team, and they couldn't move the ball.
I'm not picking KU in my picks, so I'll get to my pick with that game a little bit later on. If Dante Corleone is anything short of 100%, I'm really not sure what they're going to do against that KU run game. Not a ton of starters out for Cincinnati on the injury report, but a lot of backups, a lot of depth. They're just going to be really shallow along the defensive line going into this game. No Daniel Highshaw, possibly. He's doubtful for the game, but LaShawn Williams is awesome. I mean, he's a fantastic player. I think we'll see probably some Harry Stewart in the game, who I think has a super high ceiling. JD's probably going to run a little bit. I've got some real worries about that Cincinnati team. You've listened to the show the last 3 years. You know what both Dan and I think of their head coach. I think KU should win by at least a touchdown.
So, yeah, especially those.
Plus, you're at home.
Yeah, you're at home. So those early games, too, I think typically should benefit home teams. It's a huge weekend. There are a lot of really good, like ranked versus ranked marquee games in college football. We'll talk about more of them a little bit later on. LSU and Ole Miss is a big game in Oxford. LSU is an underdog. Man, I know Trinidad Chambliss, the former Ferris State quarterback, D2 transfer. He came in to be essentially the backup at Ole Miss this year, back up the young gun, Austin Simmons. Well, Simmons has been hurt, and Chambliss has been out of his mind, just playing some brilliant football. I don't know that that's going to fly against this LSU defense. I think LSU can move the ball effectively. Mississippi can't really stop the run, so this is a good week for LSU to get their ground game going to complement the pass. I think LSU wins this game. They are a 1.5 underdog. I think they go to Oxford, and I think they win outright. I think they're the better team.
Hey, how is the drama off the field going to impact both teams in this game?
I would think if that was going to distract anybody, it would be Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin, who found out this week, probably has known for a while, that his daughter is dating LSU star linebacker Whit Weeks.
Yeah.
In case you missed that, that's for the tabloids. We're a very serious.
Who hard launches on a game week against your your dad's team is playing them? Come on.
Yeah, it's kind of a wild move by
playing mind games.
I thought that the relationship between in the Kiffin family, I thought that those things were healing.
Yeah, I thought
things were getting better.
Improved.
I mean, if you know anything about Lane Kiffin, you know that every relationship he has is like mega toxic. So, that's happening away from the field. But no, I think LSU's a better team. I think they're going to win that game. All right, Brendan, you've got 2 picks. Yep, both Big 12 games. In fact, starting tonight, TCU +3. Dan, have you seen if this spread has moved? I know at some books it has. I don't care for what it's worth. I'm taking TCU. They were originally a 3-point dog earlier today.
It's actually gone down to 2.5.
Don't care, taking it. In fact, I will tell you this. I put some real American legal tender currency on TCU money line tonight. I think TCU is the better team. I think there's a chance TCU might have a better quarterback in this game. And the metrics agree with me as well.
You swung all the way around to the other side on Josh Hoover.
I have, all the way around. TCU 24th in Bill Conley's SP Plus right now. Arizona State 37th. That's only the 7th best spot in the Big 12. Teams ahead of them include the likes of KU, Iowa State, BYU, and TCU, not to mention Utah, as well as Texas Tech. I'm going to take TCU in this one. I think that Arizona State's going to have a real hard time outscoring them, and I think that will be the difference in the game. I've got Josh Hoover and TCU tonight on the road against Arizona State. Here's a little spoiler for you. I am picking all road underdogs in all of my picks, NFL and college. I'm going to go 0-5. Also, K-State at home, favored by 5.5 against Central Florida. I don't think Central Florida is any good. I also don't think K-State has deserved to be a near touchdown favorite against anyone right now. So this one, either we get further proof that this K-State team just frankly ain't it, or they win by a touchdown. And okay, that feels pretty good. Win a Big 12 game by a touchdown at home. Awesome, neat, on the way up. So this is somewhat of an emotional hedge, but they haven't earned the right to be favored by this many points against anybody except maybe Oklahoma State. Maybe. Like, that's where this K-State team is right now. So it's a bit of an emotional hedge, but we'll see.
Yeah, that number sat at 6 most of the week. It moved down today to 5.5. It doesn't surprise me that it would move in UCF's favor.
Agreed.
3-0, and K-State's 1-3. But K-State's off a bye. Long trip cross country for UCF to play, halfway across the country anyhow. I think there are some things in K-State's favor for this week. And like I said on yesterday's show, if they're good enough to win the game, they will win the game. Like, flat out. If they are a good enough team to win the game, I think they will. I don't think this is the kind of game where if they're good enough, they're just going to step on rakes for 60 minutes. I think they'll be on point or as on point as we've seen them all year. Maybe they just don't have the guys. And if they lose on Saturday, that will be the conclusion that we're all forced to, is they don't have the guys. But no, I think that's an entirely fair pick to make, because it does feel like it could be like a 24-20, 34-30, 34-31 kind of football game. And that would be a UCF cover, even if they come out on the wrong side.
Also, is quarterback Taven Jackson even that good?
Great question.
Because he was their backup initially, and I mean they beat North Carolina and State 68-7, but he only had 189 yards passing.
He looked pretty good against Carolina.
Yeah,
it's a fair point. It also means nothing against K-State because Army sucks. They are bad. They are booty.
They benched their good quarterback for their preseason starter, and then they couldn't move the ball again.
And they suck eggs. They are bad. They lost by 3 scores in Greenville. No quarter. ECU this week. By the way, they ran a fake field goal touchdown.
Yeah,
that was sick.
Right through the B gap.
Yeah.
Do you know who scored it?
I do not.
Former KU walk-on Kyler Pearson. I saw the play on SportsCenter. They called his name out and said, Kyler Pearson, I recognize that kid. Yeah, he played at KU for 2 years. And now he's at ECU scoring on Army. Still getting some shots in at K-State. But those are my 2 picks. UCF plus 5.5 tomorrow against K-State, and TCU plus 2.5 tonight in Tempe.
Let's pivot to the NFL. Brendan, we'll start with you. Your 2 NFL spread picks this week.
Another overlap pick here. Me and Spencer, you could have guessed Spencer was going to take this, but I'm taking Washington. This actually moved from Washington -1 to Commanders plus 2.5 today because Jaden Daniels isn't playing.
And Terry McLaurin.
Well, I think everyone knew Terry McLaurin wasn't going to play. I wasn't expecting Jaden Daniels to play. And I'm still taking Washington because I think Atlanta's defense is a paper tiger. I don't know how the hell they're going to cover anyone, even without McLaurin in there, because A.J. Terrell is going to miss this week. They run. This is a crazy stat, but it's true. If Atlanta goes under center, they have run the ball 94% of snaps this year. They are the most siloed team in the entire NFL. If they're under center or pistol, they run. If they're gun, they pass. It is so unbelievably predictable. It's why they got housed by a bad Carolina defense, 30-0 last week. I think Washington, with one of the better backup quarterbacks in the NFL, going to take care of business. Plus 2.5, I think they're going to win outright. So I will take Washington against the Falcons. This one's disgusting, but New Orleans is a 15.5-point underdog against Buffalo. This is actually moved a 0.5 point toward New Orleans. It's in Orchard Park. I'm still taking New Orleans because 15.5 points is just gigantic in the NFL. That's one of those general principle. You give me that many points, I'm going to take the points. But yeah. I mean, Buffalo might go up 14-0 and just park the bus.
No Oliver and Milano for them. That might be hey, we're just gonna go up big early. We'll get out of here.
Give it to Kamara over and over and over again. Yeah.
So that's
so many points.
It is in an NFL game. It is an obscene amount of points. My 2 NFL picks. I've got 2 home dogs this week. The Giants are 6.5-point underdogs in Jackson Dart's first NFL start against the Los Angeles Chargers. I think Brian Daboll is going to install a lot of easy button stuff for Jackson Dart. I think that their running game will be effective with Dart's threat in the read option. And I think they're going to let it rip a little bit. I think that they will be able to stay close at home. There'll be a good energy in the stadium. Fans will be fired up to see the new guy. And I think they'll hang around. I don't know that they'll win, but I think they can.
Fun fact for you, Chargers, last in the league in defensive EPA against scrambles. Not all QB runs, but scrambles specifically.
Yeah,
Keep that in mind.
Mahomes did a lot of that to them in
yes,
week 1.
He did.
So, yeah, I'll go to the Giants to cover 6.5. They can stay within a touchdown, I think. And also, like I said earlier, I think Kansas City's going to win. I'm fairly convinced Kansas City's going to win on Sunday. So I will take them as 3-point dogs. I know I took them as a home dog against Philadelphia, and it didn't work out. That team didn't have Xavier Worthy. This one does. That team wasn't playing against a defense that's allowed nearly 100 points in the first 3 weeks. This Chiefs team is playing against a Ravens team that has given up nearly 100 points in the first 3 weeks. I think we're going to see the best offensive performance of the season for the Chiefs, just in terms of how they look, if not necessarily the number of points that they score, though I do think they'll score a season high in points. And I think the Chiefs are going to cover that 3-point margin. I think they're going to win on Sunday. Spencer, what are your 2 NFL picks?
Well, it's funny because I took a page ineffectively. I didn't. It's not really. It looks like I took a page out of both of your books, but flipped for you, Dan. I've got Chargers easily covering 6, and they're going to win by a touchdown plus against Jackson Dart and the Giants. Like, no, Jackson, they're going to have them do easy stuff, and the Chargers defense is just really good, especially the back end. I think Jackson Dart's going to throw 2 picks this weekend, and it's going to be an easy touchdown plus win for the Chargers over the Giants. And then now that
you're not worried about that cross country early kickoff, those start times historically not friendly to the West Coast team.
No, I'm not.
Going cross
I'm not
country.
worried.
Okay.
I think Justin Herbert's a very good quarterback, so I'm not worried. I am a little worried though because Brendan hasn't had great success this season, and he's picking my Commanders. So I've just thought about
Listen to this guy.
So Spencer thinks that my ability to be bad is stronger than his ability to be good picking his teams. I find that interesting.
That is interesting. All right, now to our wild card picks where all of us are on an under this week. Spencer, you're on not just an under, you're on, well, it's not the Lunder, but it is the overseas under.
The Dublunder.
The Dublunder.
The Dunder.
Dunder. Yes, I really think it's going to be under. And
who's playing?
It's Steelers technically hosting the Vikings. It's the Steelers' home game. But Aaron Rodgers, love him or hate him right now, he said it himself. He said in his press conference, he said, it would make more sense if we traveled here Monday, had an off day Tuesday to acclimate and see some of the countryside and then lock in on Wednesday instead of traveling on Thursday overnight and getting in this morning. So
wow, I can't believe he complained about travel schedules. He's never done that before.
Crazy.
So I've got the under because it's a 9:30 Eastern kickoff. Their bodies aren't acclimated, and I think a lot of overseas games we've seen the under.
There's a reason that the Lunder is a thing.
Yeah.
People like to hammer that under in the international games. The total, by the way, 41 points. Brendan, you're on an under in college football.
Yes, I'm going with the under in Rice versus Navy.
I actually really like this.
That one will be in Annapolis. It's effectively a service academy under. Both teams are going to run the triple.
Yeah.
They're both running some version of the option. Navy's a heavy favorite, 14-point favorite in that game at home. But I'm going to go with the under. 45 points is the total.
I'm going under in what I think is the biggest college football game of the weekend. Penn State, Oregon, 2 top 10 teams doing battle. It's the whiteout game at Beaver Stadium. Going to be an electric atmosphere there. Oregon's Dante Moore has not played in a road atmosphere like this, at least not in a very long time since he was playing at UCLA. I think that's going to be tricky for Oregon to navigate. Penn State, though, James Franklin has the reputation that he has in big games for a reason. They are a team that tends to get super conservative and kind of turtle up in these games. I expect this is going to be a very low-scoring game. Both defenses are really good. I think the Penn State offense is going to turn super conservative. I think the Oregon offense may struggle. I'm going under 53 in this game. I don't have any idea who's going to win. My lean is Oregon only because we've seen James Franklin's movies, but no time like the present to rewrite that particular script in Happy Valley. I do know this. I'm going under 53. Those are our picks this week in the 580 Sports Talk Picks Contest. We'll give you an update.
Oh, we got to pick locks.
I was trying to show it to you locks on a piece of paper, so I didn't.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt you. You were
doing
radio.
What's your lock of the week, Spencer?
My lock of the week is I think KU.
Okay.
Cincinnati hate.
Give me TCU.
You got TCU as your lock. I will take I'll screw it. Take the Chiefs. Lock of the week. They're gonna win.
I hope so.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll crown a weekly champion on What Is Wrong With You next. It is What Is Wrong With You time on 580 Sports Talk. 2 news stories competing today. Our final day of the week, our final competition day of the month. We've got our semifinals coming Monday and our September championship on the final day of the month on Tuesday. Our current weekly champion, our current winner for the week is the TA with the fart spray, 32-year-old former teaching assistant at West Florence High School in South Carolina, who was spraying a fart spray canister in the school repeatedly, causing over $55,000 in damage to the school's air conditioning system and causing students to fall ill and require medical attention for respiratory issues. Can only imagine how foul that can of fart spray was. Anyway, he is our current weekly winner. We got 2 new stories today. Spencer, why don't you go first?
All right, here we are going to go to Charlotte County, Florida. A Department of Environmental Protection employee is accused of throwing a McDonald's cup at another driver during a road rage incident in Charlotte County on Tuesday. According to the Florida Highway Patrol, troopers responded to the report of road rage incident on I-75 in the county. FHP says the victim told them that the driver of a white Ford pickup truck was behind the victim in the inside lane with his flashers on. The victim said the truck then moved over to the center lane and sped up to be even with them. The victim said the driver of the pickup began to flip him off and then throw a cup containing an unknown liquid at his car. FHP troopers said they saw an unknown liquid on the front passenger side of the car as well as inside the car on the dashboard and seat. The victim had also been splashed with the unknown liquid. After investigating, the troopers discovered the white pickup belonged to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. Troopers said they called the department and identified the driver of the truck as Kevin Holden, 52, an employee of the department. On Wednesday, troopers met with Holden in person at a park. Holden told troopers that he was in the center lane of I-75 when he accidentally dropped a McDonald's cup into the victim's car. Holden said that he had a McDonald's cup in his left hand, and when he became even with the victim in the center lane, the victim flipped him off and used profanity towards him. Holden then said the victim swerved into his lane, causing him to overcorrect and drop the cup out of the driver's side window. Troopers determined that due to the speed at which the 2 cars were traveling at the time of the incident, around 80 miles an hour, when Holden threw the cup at the victim, there was a possibility it could have hit the victim, causing the victim to crash the car at a high speed, endangering himself and those around him. Due to this, the troopers arrested Holden. He is facing aggravated battery. So this guy who decided to have a road rage incident was driving his work vehicle.
Yeah, not the brightest thing.
Not
to do.
ideal.
Don't drive a work vehicle when you're in the middle of a road rage. All right, my story, again, is a reset of a story from the Phoenix area back in 2020. Man had a name, and that name was
Penis Man.
He's back.
Penis
Welcome back
Man.
to the Penis Man. All right.
The Penis Man is back. A graffiti vandal is once again tagging the Valley with an infamous phrase that gained national attention back in 2020. Someone is writing Penis Man on various buildings and structures around the Phoenix metro area. We didn't used to do this show on a video stream, so this is new to us to be able to show you what we're talking about. You can check out the YouTube channel right now, 580 Sports Talk, and there are pictures of some of the vandalism. Most recently, a rather large version of the phallic phrase was spotted by an Arizona's Family reporter on the Interstate 10 eastbound on-ramp at 7th Avenue in Phoenix. The graffiti was cleaned up in a couple of days. People have reported seeing the tags downtown Phoenix, North Phoenix, and Tempe. The phrase and the genital-themed graffiti first made headlines in 2020 when Tempe police arrested a man, Dustin Schomer, on dozens of counts of vandalism. Police said he was responsible for the original tags around the city, but he later told the Phoenix New-Times he was a copycat and only to blame for some of them. A representative from Phoenix Police said they do not have information on the recent incidents. Tempe Police said they are aware and will have more information at a later time. No arrests have been made, but online commenters are wondering who could be behind the very public penile penmanship. I hate this guy, someone wrote on an Instagram post detailing the tagging. What did that tagging say?
Penis man.
That is actually from the TV broadcast. I played the TV audio. This was a story in January of 2020, and I played the local TV audio with the TV reporter solemnly intoning the words
Penis man.
And I just kept hitting the button over and over again during the segment.
And over again.
And we got a really big kick out of it.
What a throwback. Can't believe this guy's back at it.
So, yeah.
Or it's a copycat.
Could be multiple copycats. This could be like a Spartacus type of situation. I'm Penis Man. No, I'm Penis Man.
I feel like it's got to be the same guy. 5 years apart? 5.5 years apart?
The dormant Penis Man strikes again.
I mean, this is
across the Valley of the Sun.
So
this is Bruce Wayne in The Dark Knight
2020?
Rises. Like he had retired. He had, sunk away from society, and now he's back. He's a Cape Crusader again.
So back in 2020, they did arrest somebody, but that guy said, "Nah, it was I saw it and thought it was funny, and I just did it myself." But it's not me. I'm not the OG Penis Man.
Yeah, he was the
I
phony.
am but a Penis Man pretender.
Oh, so that means the guy that really did it could still be out
The
there.
real
Penis man.
is still at large. Yes. That is the implication, that he has been at large this whole time, and he lay in the shadows to emerge when he knew that his city needed him and his graffiti.
Penis man.
I get a big kick out of it, as you can probably tell. It is a very funny story to me. I am going to give the return of Penis Man the win today.
Yeah. I don't think there's much argument there.
Andrew's got a great question. What's he been doing for 5 years? Great question.
I don't know. Refining his technique, making sure that he cannot be traced.
Waiting to start again.
If you see the image, you can see that the penmanship is very different. That the spacing, the style of the graffiti. One of them looks to be on the side of a dumpster. The other on the side of an overpass. The words unmistakable.
Penis man.
I do give it the nod today. Jeffrey said, "Will a real Penis Man please stand up?"
I'm with you for today.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him the win today.
Does it beat the TA with the fart spray?
I mean, this would start a new precedent if we gave him the win, because I don't believe we've ever had a secondary win. Like, I don't think we've ever had a bounce back winner before.
Yeah, he won the day. I don't believe he won the week back in January of 2020. He certainly
I
did
do not think he made it through the week.
Don't think he won the month. Don't think he won the year. But
No,
it was
definitely no on those.
But memorable because I just kept hitting this
Penis man.
I kept hitting the button over and over again during the segment, and now I have even more power to keep hitting the button. So that was why it was a particularly memorable moment in What Is Wrong With You history. But anyhow, does that beat the TA with the fart spray?
No.
Oh, man.
The dude, it's a adult.
An adult.
It's
with
not a
can of
high
fart
schooler.
spray.
It is an adult. What adult does that?
What adult sprays Penis Man on the walls and the overpasses of Greater Phoenix?
I do love that the story uses the phrase fecal odor.
Yeah, it's really overwritten over there at WJBF.com.
I am going to go with the fart spray.
Okay.
I'm going to lean fart spray.
Yeah.
I'm not here to set a new precedent today.
That's fine.
That is what the grounds I am going to stand on. But I am amazed he came back after 5 years in hiding. I am truly amazed by that.
Just understand that
He is the penis man.
yes, and that if you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find him, maybe one day you too can hire
Penis man.
That'll do it for 580 Sports Talk. What is wrong with you? We're going to talk some Jayhawk and Wildcat football when we come back here on the program. 444 on 580 Sports Talk. These guys have a new album coming out soon.
Do they really?
Yeah. Tame Impala still in the league.
Good show. Tame Impala.
A great album. One of my favorite albums of all time, Currents. Anyhow, Dan, Brendan, Spencer, hanging out with you on this Football Friday. Both KU and K-State are in action on Saturday, 11 a.m. kickoffs. K-State in Manhattan taking on UCF. KU at home against Cincinnati. We'll start with that KU game first. Cincinnati, by the numbers, is better than you think. I saw this at Bill Connolly's column this morning over at ESPN.com. Cincinnati's second in the nation in success rate on offense.
That's impressive.
And their defense is first in the country on yards allowed per successful play, which means if you have a successful play against them, it probably wasn't like a big play. What that basically says is they keep you limited on your successful plays. You're not taking the top off of their defense so far. That's all well and good. I actually do think Cincinnati's defense might be decent, but let's be honest about who it is that they've played to date. They played Nebraska. We all saw that game because it was a Thursday night game and weren't super duper impressed by what we saw with that game in particular. Then they beat Bowling Green by 2 touchdowns, and they beat Northwestern State by 70 points. That is the totality of Cincinnati football for 2025. They were off last Saturday. So most of these numbers they put up against a Bowling Green team we don't think is very good, and Northwestern State, who is terrible. So you'll have to pardon me if I give a little less weight to some of those season-long numbers. The one thing that has stood out about Cincinnati's offense is they have been bad on third down. And I like Kansas's ability to get you off the field. They were awesome on third down against West Virginia. They came flying after the ball. I just love how fast they play on defense. And I think that the speed at which they play on defense and the ability that they've had to win at the line of scrimmage, I think is going to make life really difficult for Brendan Sorsby on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's an entirely fair take. I think that Dean Miller getting it going a little bit this past week is a very positive sign for a pass rush that's already been really good. I mean, Leroy Harris has been awesome. Justice Finkley had his best game of the season so far last week as well. So, no, I'm feeling pretty good about where this KU team is up front right now. Now, there's still improvement that can be made. There's no doubt about that. But I am pretty happy with where KU is. Defensively at this point, I think DK McDonald has done a really good job of mixing things up, being multiple in the front. With Bengala Kamara out there, that linebacker core is always going to be good. Stipp is playing really well right now. Trey Lathan was really good this past week as well.
Yeah, he was awesome.
So really, everybody in that front seven is contributing at a high level. Now, not going to be at full strength in the secondary right now. Obviously, Dye is going to miss the first half due to the targeting from last week that occurred after halftime in that game. But all things considered, I like the KU defensive matchup. Sorsby's fine. He was awful in that game against Nebraska that started the season. And I think the KU offense is going to be able to put up plenty of points. Again, even if Corleone plays, if he's anything short of 100%, with the depth that they're missing along that defensive line, don't love that matchup for Cincinnati. I do really like it for KU. Hopefully those wide receivers are getting more and more back in the swing of things, more and more healthy. I do like this matchup for KU. I think they win, and I do think they cover the spread.
We all then think that KU will cover the currently 5.5 points against Cincinnati. That game, by the way, will be on TNT.
By the way, for what it's worth, you mentioned Northwestern State and the fact that they are terrible. They are ranked in Bill Conley's SP+. He does these by class, but he also does a full all 766 teams that play college football at four-year schools. He does a ranking with his SP+. They are ranked about 10 spots, 12 spots, in fact, below the University of Nebraska at Kearney, who Washburn plays tomorrow. They are ranked 13 spots below Friends, which is not in the NCAA.
Friends University.
That's incredible, man.
Yes. And that being said, Friends is only 7th among NAIA schools.
Wow.
They're very good. The Falcons have something cooking down there in Wichita.
But they're 50 spots below Dort for the top NAIA spot. That's how bad Northwestern State is. That game meant absolutely nothing for Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Why are you playing a team like that? Although I shouldn't say that because Wagner, who KU beat, is the third worst Division I team of all programs, according to these numbers. I'm sorry, fifth worst.
K-State against UCF. And we've talked about this throughout the week, and I talked about it yesterday that, look, a loss on Saturday will be a 5-alarm fire for the program at its present and for its future. If they cannot find a way out of a bye week against a team traveling halfway across the country who played a pretty big game for them on Saturday with North Carolina coming to town. So they were keyed up for that game. And keyed up to play Bill Belichick's North Carolina Tar Heels. They kicked the crap out of them. Give them credit where it's due. They're undefeated. They were not very good in week 1, but they've been better in their intervening games. I don't know precisely how good they are, but this should be a game on paper. Just looking at the rosters, looking at the relative experience, looking at what those programs have been in the Big 12 specifically, this should be a game that K-State wins. And shouldn't probably have to break too much of a sweat, but that is not the reality of the K-State that we have seen through their first 4 games this season. So I think the early part of this game is going to tell us everything. How does K-State come out of the locker room? Do they come out? They've had 2 weeks to put an opening drive together. They haven't been able to put an opening drive worth a damn together all season. They've had 2 weeks to put this one together. They go down the field and they get in the end zone and they get a stop and they go up 7-0 and they give that crowd something to get behind. I think it could end up being a really long day for UCF. But again, that is maybe envisioning a version of this Kansas State team that may not actually exist, that may still only exist theoretically.
Yeah, and I like, still, even with all of this, at its most granular level, I still like K-State in this matchup, and I still like this K-State team on paper. Unfortunately for them, the game is played on grass. So I don't really know how much that matters at this point. Like, I still think Avery Johnson is an extremely talented quarterback and football player. He's played like crap. Like that doesn't matter to a degree. Like that, and Jace Brown has played well. How many other offensive players can you say beyond a shadow of a doubt have played well for the balance of the season? Like, I think Jace Brown's been awesome, frankly. Oakley's been okay. Like, the tight ends have been okay. Tight ends don't even have their most talented player available, even though they said this week that they're hoping to get Lincoln Cure a little bit more involved. Again, I think K-State should win this game, but I put UCF in my picks this week because K-State does not deserve to be favored by 5.5 over anybody right now.
Yeah, it's really hard to argue that they do. I think K-State's going to win. I do. I think they're good enough to win. I still believe that they are good enough to win this game. Now, how much that means against the teeth of their Big 12 schedule, that will remain to be seen. But I think they are good enough to win this game, and at least in that regard, right their ship a little bit. Give me one college football game, the college football game you're most excited for this Saturday. It's a monster week. Give me the one you're most excited to watch.
I'm pretty excited about Oregon Penn State. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. It's the James Franklin Bowl. Dan Lanning, are you actually that guy, or do you just talk a lot? How good is Dante Moore actually? Because Oregon has not played anybody, and Penn State really has not played anybody either. Drew Aller in a big spot without the best player he had last year that helped Penn State get to where they were in terms of Tyler Warren, who, by the way, is really good in the NFL already. Wow, surprise. I think this is a fascinating matchup. I'm leaning Oregon, but at the same time, man, they don't lose those whiteout games. They just don't do it. I think that's going to be a fascinating matchup, though.
Yeah, that game, and I think Alabama, Georgia, which is always a banger, is going to be a good one as well. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll wrap up this 4 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk. All right, who's got to change my mind for us today?
Change my mind. KU wins 8 games this season. Finish a theme we've talked about quite a bit this week.
I think 8's a reasonable projection from this point forward. To be 5-3 in the rest of their conference games. It would be losses in their 2 tough road games and then a stumble somewhere else. I think that's entirely a reasonable place to expect that they would end up.
Either Utah or K-State in all likelihood.
Yeah.
I know we all just said, like, wow, K-State, why do you still suck? But, like, come on. I've been alive for the last 16 years.
Yeah.
I know.
And
we know.
I think if you remain healthy and you get Highshaw 100% healthy, I think this team's in a great spot because you have everybody. Like, it doesn't seem like there's barring health, they have their guys.
Of course.
You got to change my mind, Spencer?
Change my mind if Derrick Henry rushes for 150 plus yards or 100 plus yards in this game, and Lamar goes over 50 himself, they win.
No, because I don't think you can trust Derrick Henry right now.
Yeah, well,
yeah. Derrick Henry is one of the most, like, laid back on the field players in the league, despite how terrifying he is. Dude, he was so upset he, like, knocked himself to the ground throwing his helmet last week
and lost
3 fumbles and 3. Like, this is very not like him.
Yeah,
and which makes me think it's getting to be a little bit mental. So no, he's had great games over and over, and it hasn't really mattered.
Only one 100-yard rushing game against the C. Spagnuolo Chiefs defense, and that was really just one 56-yard run.
That's a good number.
Want caller number 3 right now to 785-272-9429. You're going to the reimagined David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium. I've got a family 4-pack of tickets for KU in Cincinnati tomorrow afternoon. If you call 785-272-9429, caller number 3 wins the tickets. More 580 Sports Talk after this.
now final half hour of 580 Sports Talk coming your way. I'm Brendan Dworzinski, joined by Spencer Dupuis. Dan Lucero is on his way to Hayden High School for tonight's 580 Preps Game of the Week on Country 106.9. It's Hayden, it's Wamego, it's the Wildcats, it's the Raiders going head-to-head tonight. 6:45 pregame show start time, 7 o'clock kickoff. Again, that action can be heard over on our sister station, Country 106.9 tonight. And starting at the bottom of the hour today, right here on 580 WIBW, we've got the 580 Preps Coaches Club. Dan speaking to all of the coaches who are in action tonight. A couple teams played yesterday, in fact. Washburn Rural as well as Topeka West both played. Rural, really impressive win against Blue Valley Northwest. That is a good win for Steve Bueller's group against an EKL team. Meanwhile, Topeka West, great effort, but they come up short in their game yesterday. So all the coaches who are playing tonight will be featured on the 580 Preps Coaches Club. And, of course, Dan's interview with Bill Arnold, head coach of Hayden. That will be on the pregame show over on Country 106.9 for our game of the week. Don't forget, we've got plenty of action coming up this week here on 580 WIBW and the Connoisseur Media Topeka family of stations. That includes K-State versus UCF. Tomorrow, 11 o'clock kickoff, 9 o'clock pregame start time here on 580 WIBW. We've got Washburn football tomorrow coming up, 1 o'clock kickoff time, 12:30 pregame on Country 106.9, Washburn versus Nebraska Kearney. Yours truly, as well as Fletcher Terrell and Trenton Craxner on the call of that one over on Country 106.9. Royals baseball, Chiefs football, Sunday night football as well, Packers versus Cowboys. All that and more coming up this weekend here on 580 WIBW and, again, the Connoisseur Media Topeka family of stations. So before we get to the Coaches Club tonight, we've got our 580 Sports Talk headlines to get to. Most of it NFL related, as you can probably figure out on a Friday like this. We'll also use some of the injury updates today just to talk about a few of the games that are going on around the NFL. We'll also get to our final Chiefs thoughts and our final word before the Coaches Club today. All right, Spencer, without further ado, shall we get to our 580 Sports Talk headlines?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. We'll start with the Chiefs injury report for week 4. Nobody listed out right off the rip. There are a lot of names on here. We'll get to all of them. 2 players questionable, 1 doubtful. The doubtful player is Mike Dana, still working back from that quad issue. He was limited today and Wednesday. He was a full participant in practice yesterday, but he is doubtful, probably not going to go off the edge for the Chiefs. They have got to find some more pass rush. They are really bad at generating pressure in general. Here's a crazy stat that I heard earlier today. This was from the Football 301 podcast over at Yahoo Sports. And Nate Tice, Charles McDonald, they do such a good job. The Chiefs are 26th in the NFL in pressure rate when blitzing. That's the whole thing with this defense. That's the whole thing with Spags. These exotic, wild, where are they coming from kind of blitzes. They don't get home. They still haven't been able to generate a lot of pressure doing that so far through 3 games this season. They have got to find a way to generate more pressure. Won't be able to do it with Mike Dana. In all likelihood, he is doubtful for this weekend. 2 players questionable. Ashton Gelati with an elbow injury. He was a full go the last 2 days, but did not practice today, so he is questionable. Christian Fulton limited all week as he tries to get back from that ankle injury. I think Fulton returning is going to be a massive boon for this defense because that allows you to be a lot more flexible with where you line up Trent McDuffie. He's very good on the outside. He is elite when you put him in the slot. You bring Fulton back, you can obviously move him around a little bit more. So hopefully Fulton is good to go for tomorrow. Otherwise, everybody listed was a full participant today. That includes Nick Bolton dealing with a rib, Hollywood Brown with his ankle, Brian Cook, Creed Humphrey, Patrick Mahomes, Charles Omenihu, Jalen Royals. Hey, Jalen Royals, he's a full go. Juwan Taylor, Drew Tranquil. And last but certainly not least, Xavier Worthy. We have not seen him since the opener against the Chargers down in Brazil. Spencer, how big of an impact will Xavier Worthy be able to make for the Chiefs in his return? I think long-term, obviously a big deal. First game back from injury, hard to say.
Yeah, hard to say. I think they might scheme some things up for him. I mean, you want to get him the ball. He is a big playmaker, especially probably, the biggest name on your roster right now when it comes to receivers, as you didn't get a lot from Hollywood Brown. Juju Smith-Schuster, for some reason, is making a big impact on this team, and you didn't expect him to, obviously, with Rashee Rice out. But if you scheme up a few things for him, I think it'd be good. Obviously, maybe try a deep ball down the field, but if you can't to him, you've got Tyquan Thornton, who's proven it in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, so big to get Xavier Worthy back for this week. And I think you're probably right. Try to manufacture some touches for him to try to
like we saw this last year. They did an end around with him and he scored.
Yeah.
Week 1, right?
Yeah.
I think it was his first career game.
No, I think you're spot on with that. So that's your Chiefs injury report. As for the Ravens, a little more bleak. Nnamdi Madubuike, their star defensive tackle. You may remember when he was named Justin Madubuike. He changed his name a couple years ago. Dealing with a neck, real weird, mysterious injury. He is unavailable. Their run defense sucks. It is really, really bad. They are 32nd in the NFL in success rate against the run, 31st in EPA against the run. That's bad. If you're not into the advanced metrics, just know that's bad. Success rate also not all that advanced, but we can talk about that another time. So Madubuike not going to play. Patrick Ricard, their fullback, who is really important for their run game as well as their pass protection. He's got a calf issue. He is not going to play. Broderick Washington, rotational defensive lineman, he is out as well. 4 players questionable. That includes outside linebacker Kyle Van Noy. He's got a hamstring. Did not participate all week until today when he was limited. He is questionable. Ronnie Stanley. John Harbaugh, very non-committal about his left tackle. He has not practiced for most of the week until he was limited today. He's questionable. Not 100% sure he's going to go. Isaiah Likely's questionable. He's almost certainly going to play. He was a full participant in practice today with a foot injury. Travis Jones, defensive tackle, dealing with a knee. He's been limited in practice the last 2 days. Did not practice Wednesday. He is questionable. Travis Jones from UConn, good player, really good player up front. But again, starting defensive tackle, questionable and out respectively, with another rotational defensive tackle who is out for sure for this game. They just have so few guys who can make an impact up front, and it's why they are getting gashed in the run game, and it's why they haven't been able to generate a ton of pass rush either.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, along with Dan, talked about it earlier today. They just need to put Madubuike on IR, give them another guy on the roster, because it's very bleak. It's so bleak that John Harbaugh won't even talk about the specifics of it.
Yeah, it's very weird.
So you need guys up front. I mean, hindsight, he's missed 2 weeks now? I think 2.5. Is it 3?
I think it's 3 now. I mean, he's not made an impact.
Yeah, but you can go on the IR for 4 weeks. So I don't know why hindsight they didn't put him on the IR
with him not even practicing too. It's very, very bizarre. But that's your injury report for Chiefs versus Ravens coming up on Sunday afternoon. That is the featured game of the day in the afternoon for CBS.
Yeah, I think they're going to be live from the NFL Today. I think is going to be live from KC.
Yeah, you are correct. The only places that are not getting Ravens Chiefs on CBS, in fact, are the Chicago and Las Vegas markets, because the Bears play the Raiders in the afternoon. For what it's worth, the other games we are getting without Sunday Ticket or streaming or anything like that, just the local games on TV this week. Obviously, afternoon on Sunday is going to be the Chiefs game. The noon kickoff on CBS, we are going to get Chargers versus Giants. The majority of the land masses of this country are going to get that. Kevin Harlan doing the game, though. So
yeah,
that's cool. We're not getting your Washington team.
I know.
That's tough.
Didn't buy Sunday Ticket because I was like, they were really good last year.
Yeah.
And
probably get some national games.
Well, I got national games, right, which are coming up later here in the next few weeks. But none of these early season games have really been America's Game of the Week or anything like that. It's kind of irked me.
Plus, the Chargers being apparently very good, they're obviously going to bleed into division rival TV territory. The lone game we are going to get on Fox, it will be in the noon window, Philadelphia versus Tampa Bay. That's a massive game. Massive game. That's going to be the Burkhardt and Brady game as well. We'll be getting that one. It's not an incredible slate of games this weekend, frankly. Philly-Tampa is a good one. Colts-Rams is a really good one. I think Jacksonville-San Francisco is fairly interesting as well. But obviously, the CBS doubleheader game, Baltimore, Kansas City is the big one. Of course, Thursday night football, we already had last night, Seattle, Arizona. We've got the game in Dublin. Between the Vikings and the Steelers. That game will be on NFL Network only.
It's not on the Plus. Interesting.
No, that's one of the NFL Network games.
Okay.
Joe Davis, Greg Olson on that game, in fact. Sunday night football, Green Bay versus Dallas in Arlington. Jets, Dolphins, and Bengals, Broncos are all going to be on Monday Night Football. Let's break down a couple of these, and we'll use some of the injury reports as our vehicle to do so. Spencer, you want to lead us off with the injury reports from around the league?
Yeah, a guy who thought was going to be out quite a little bit longer is not out, is off the injury report. That's 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy. He will play against the Jaguars Sunday. Kind of interesting there. I wanted to see the Mac Jones revenge game.
Sure, yeah, against Jacksonville. Against his hometown team, where he did not play especially well last season in relief of Trevor Lawrence. The Jacksonville defense has been surprisingly potent through the first 3 weeks of the season. In fact, for you stat heads out there, the Jags are number 2 in the NFL in expected points added defensively. They have been great. The only team above them is Minnesota, who, I mean, given what they did to Cincinnati, that kind of skews the numbers this early in the season. So the Jacksonville defense has been very, very good so far. They're still trying to figure it out on offense. I don't think Lawrence has been awful. They lead the NFL in drops. I think they have 13 drops already through 3 games. It's an epidemic down there in Duval County. I'm fascinated by this game. I kind of like Jacksonville as an underdog, kind of. I think this is a fascinating game, though. Purdy back certainly helps San Francisco. But again, they don't have Nick Bosa now. They get their quarterback back, but they miss their best defensive player.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. I think there, if you're the 49ers, but I think anybody can come into a 49er offense, a Kyle Shanahan offense, and do pretty well. I mean, that whole tree, I mean, that's why we saw Carson Wentz play decently. I think that offense is built for quarterbacks to succeed. So,
nope, that's
if you get Brock Purdy into a rhythm with maybe MVS or
Pearsall has been really good.
I think Pearsall is questionable though.
Well, if he can go, I mean, that dude's legit. He can really play. But yeah, he's got to be able to go, obviously. Next up on the injury report.
My beloved Commanders will be without Jaden Daniels once again, and they will be without Terry McLaurin. I don't think this matters much. I think Marcus Mariota, a very formidable backup, I think the best backup in the league, but still a top 3, 4, 5 backup in the league. It's another revenge game for him, possible against Atlanta, where things turned sour for Mariota, especially you could see it all unfold on the first season of Quarterback on Netflix. So I think that is an interesting time or thing in there, but obviously Terry McLaurin being out with, it's either a quad, a hip, or a groin sports hernia issue there. That will be interesting to keep an eye on as the things go down, because they're also going to be without Noah Brown, wide receiver, who made a huge impact obviously last season, but look like Luke McCaffrey is going to need another week where he steps up and gets another touchdown this week. Atlanta will be without corner AJ Terrell, which obviously with Washington having some inexperience at receiver besides Deebo Samuel could be helpful. Packers, they're going to miss their starting and backup right tackles.
Yeah, Zach Tom.
Not great.
Yeah, Zach Tom is, I mean, an all-pro caliber right tackle. Anthony Belton, second-round draft pick this year, has been okay when he's been pushed into duty, but both are injured, not going to play. I usually hate the early season bye week. The Packers have a week 5 bye. They need it really badly to get some of these offensive linemen back. I think the Packers can beat the Cowboys anyway. I mean, the Cowboys just have no juice defensively at all.
And the whole Micah Parsons kind of wild. Also, he still has a suite there.
Yeah, so they traded him so late in the process that he had already purchased his suite for the year, paid in full, can't get a refund, so it's still his suite.
So now everyone's going to be in the suite rocking Packer gear. So that'll be interesting.
I do think the Packers will win, but it's going to be tough without those right tackles.
Yeah, I mean,
even if Belton, the rookie, was playing, I'd feel better. Right now, former Chief Darian Kennard probably going to start at right tackle.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Packers still win this one. To the next game, Malik Neighbors is good to go. He's off the injury report for the Giants. That will start Jackson Dart at quarterback as Russell Wilson. Did you hear all the crap he was taking last night from Tony Gonzalez, I think it was?
Well, it was Tony G on the pregame show on Amazon who said, I think that Russell Wilson has played his way out of the Hall of Fame. And then Richard Sherman, who it is well known does not like his former teammate at all.
Doubled down.
Yeah, kind of piled on there. I don't agree with Tony G. For what it's worth, I don't think Russell Wilson was a Hall of Famer anyway. Like, you got to be an All-Pro. And the Super Bowl helps. You got to be an All-Pro.
I think, too, if he had won multiple Super Bowls and had been the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, if you're not going to have multiple rings, you've got to have more individual honors. That's how, like, Eli Manning, like it or not, he's getting in. I don't think there's an argument. Like, he's getting in. Does he deserve it? Up for debate.
Well,
but he's got 2 rings and 2 MVPs.
And also, he beat
the best team of all time.
Supposed to be the best team of all time in the Super Bowl.
Got more narrative. That being said, I think the best years of Russell Wilson's career speak for themselves without what has happened the last 3 seasons. Those guys were taking some shots during pregame on Amazon yesterday. One more here from Buffalo.
Yeah, Bills will be without Ed Oliver once again, and then this time without Matt Milano as they take on the Saints.
His second straight week out as well. For Buffalo. 2 really good players, arguably their 2 best defensive players. They should still have very little trouble with New Orleans. New Orleans stinks. They are really bad. Their roster is just awful. Spencer Rattler's not any good. He could become, I believe it's the 6th or 7th quarterback ever to start their career 0-10 in games they've started. Not very good. Very bad. Deshaun Kaiser, by the way, has the record. He went 0-15 as a starter. He never won a start.
Who do you feel better about this week? The Chargers against Jackson Dart or the Bills' depleted defense versus the Saints?
I will go with the Bills. I think the Saints are somehow worse than the Giants. I also think Dable is desperately trying to save his job and might pull out just the craziest play calls you've ever seen.
I'm trying to figure out who to pick in my Survivor
League.
That's worth like $400.
Real quick, one last headline from the NFL as we wrap up our 580 Sports Talk headlines today. Hope you're not sick of the Brazil games because they're going back at least 3 times in the next 5 years. It was officially reported today the NFL will be back in Brazil during the 2026 season for the first regular season game in Rio de Janeiro. They'll be playing at Maracana Stadium after playing in Sao Paulo each of the last 2 years. The league is not going to play on the first Friday again this
they
year.
Can't play on Fridays anymore, at least in the start of the season because of the law.
Yeah, the way the calendar falls with high school and college football and all of that. They're not sure when they're going to play the game, but over the next 5 years, the NFL has agreed to play at least 3 more games in Brazil. Would not be surprised if it's each one of those 5 years. Look, they're going to play these international games regardless. Brazil's got a cool NFL fan base, whatever.
And the thing about Brazil is you're still you're in the time zone.
That's helpful.
You're
very helpful.
You're in the American-ish time zone.
Great point. We've got to get to a break after our 580 Sports Talk headlines. Final words up next. All right, time for a quick final word as we wrap up 580 Sports Talk before the 580 Preps Coaches Club. Spencer, let's get a final word with your final Chiefs thoughts against Baltimore.
Yeah, final Chiefs word for me tonight is I think we're going to see a lot of punching at the football for the Chiefs defensively. George Karlaftis talked about it during his media availability that it wasn't necessarily going to be punch first, but it's going to be, hey, we got to make an emphasis on trying to get their hand around the ball and punch it out. So I think it'll help. Chiefs win, and I think it's 27-24.
I'm taking the Chiefs. 24-23 is the score I picked. I don't really necessarily love the Chiefs in this matchup, but I've got some real worries about Baltimore. That defense stinks. Their offense has been effective, but it's also been extremely boom or bust depending on if they get explosive plays or not, mostly from Lamar, but from Derrick Henry too. I'm going to take the Chiefs, and I think if they get a win here, all of a sudden, all this talk about how, they're doomed, it's all over for the Mahomes era, it gets thrown out the window. Even if they lose, that stuff is pretty much irrelevant as far as I'm concerned, but, national narratives and all that. That'll do it for 580 Sports Talk. We got the 580 Preps Coaches Club coming up next. The 580 Preps Game of the Week coming up tonight at 7 over on Country 106.9. Washburn football, K-State, Royals, all coming up tomorrow as well. Royals tonight, too. Why not? For Dan, for Spencer, I'm Brendan. This has been 580 Sports Talk. Enjoy your weekend.